I would go with the second option if the "Are you alright" line was not part of this. So I'm gonna go with the first one. Obviously, that was the most logical choice. I was expecting you to say that. I can tell when you're lying, you moron. Haruka says. You weren't expecting anything. You knew it. I don't get it. Haruka says. Why would you choose Barry? Do you not need to be a mage to cast primordial magic? Obviously, you do. That's what his magic stats are for, aren't they? Haruka says. Did you already forget how I said that unlocking his magical stats should be our highest priority? Yeah, but we have no way of knowing how long that will take, Haruka says. Wouldn't it be faster to just teach the primordial magic to someone who is already a mage? No, that's not how it works, Haruka says. A prerequisite of learning primordial magic is to already have a firm grasp on the theoretical notions regarding all types of regular magic, and this type of knowledge is something that most of you sorely lack, but Barry is the closest thing we have to a generalist in this group, so even with the huge handicap of not being able to cast magic, he'd still be the best candidate by a wide margin. I almost read virgin when I was reading the above line of the corner of my eye. I was like, why is she calling him a virgin in that like 3 lines below? But no, a wide margin. As an added bonus, he's also half Lacetti, so he'd most likely find it easier than the rest of you to link himself to the Magium fragments and cast the primordial spells on it once he finally gets his magical powers. Once he gets his magical powers, Darren says. When will that happen, I wonder? If even Layla's father wasn't able to unlock these stats by force, then the code for unlocking them is nowhere to be found. I'm guessing we'll find it in Selcrom's trials, because we can get the old Lacetti to unlock them. Let's see. Accomplish his goals before the... Yeah. If even Layla's father was able to unlock these stats by force, then the code for unlocking them is nowhere to be found. What chance do we realistically have to accomplish the goal before the end of the tournament? If you cannot unlock the stats by force, Haruka says, then clearly your next course of action should be to find one of the high-ranking Lacetti that know the code, to wring the information out of them by using any means necessary. You really have to tell you everything. Easier said than done, Darren says. It's not like anyone from our group who ever been in contact with a high-ranked Lacetti have kept in touch with them or anything else. Kate, Layla, Dr. Isaac are probably considered enemies by the current Lacetti leadership, and I doubt there are any person in this room who could know the whereabouts of... Hey, Melindra, you're looking rather tense. Is something wrong? What do you mean? Melindra says in a slightly nervous tone. There's nothing wrong. Everything's fine. Dan says he studies for a few seconds. If she doesn't want to talk about it, we probably should let her be, I tell Darren. You all know her brother might be held hostage by some high-rank Lacetti. She could risk endangering him if she gives us too many details. You're right, Darren says. I haven't thought about that, Melindra. I don't know what the situation with your brother is, but if there's anything we can do to help, please let us know. Of course, Melindra says somewhat hesitantly. If anything comes to mind, I'll tell you. So, does anyone else get the feeling that we're being watched? Flower says all of a sudden, as she's looking a little anxious at the crystals that were just shining brightly again. Being washed through the crystal, you mean? Darren says, I guess we can't really ignore the possibility, but I don't see the reason why someone or something as far as a Magium would not directly reveal itself to us directly instead of hiding. Premonition check failed. I have 1 premonition. Why did I put 1 point in premonition? Except for the first chapter, I don't think we have ever gotten a skill check where you need like 1 point. You need at least 2 points. I must have put them... Yeah, I remember. I think I put them 1 point in premonition in the first chapter because there's like a thing that shows up in the stars that you can look at, and it's written in ancient language or something that like happens in the first chapter. Is an achievement you get. I think that's the point I put it in. I don't know if I've ever recorded that or not. I've also not recorded a really cool thing. You remember when the time we fought the dragon, I forgot his name, in the first time when Aiden unlocked the magical stats? I don't know how he does it, but he did. There's actually a fail-safe in that. If you make the wrong choices, you can actually just brute force that event. And in which, instead of all the cool things and like seriously calculatively manipulated the fighting was, what is his name, Barry does is he basically takes the sword, like engulfs himself in fire and just like slashes down at the dragon or some shit like that. I don't remember exactly how the fight went, but it's in like a achievement you can get, and I was trying out these achievements to try and just get them so that I can proceed to the next book. But yeah, so as I said, like, I wish there was like a way to access every single choice and like arrange your stats as you wish during these choices, so you can see like different outcomes and shit like that. That would be super cool. But regardless, what if what if someone was what if it were someone else watching us instead of the Magium? Linus says, like, for example, the Overseer. There's nobody spying on us invisibly, if that is what you're saying, Arka says. If there weren't here, I would have sensed them by now. Speaking of the Overseer, Dern says, I just remember something that I heard Peter say when I was tending to some of the... How much is it? It's level 4 premonition. I just remembered something that I overheard Peter say when I was tending to some of the injured people in one of the tunnels. Apparently the king of the underground wasn't very happy when he heard that the Overseer seized control of the city, so he is already assembling a small task force to assassinate him. Assassinate the Overseer? Arka says. Hardrick says, confused. Wouldn't you need to destroy all his flying metal balls in order to do that? It seems that the Overseer has some sort of core hidden somewhere within Verathia. The king of the underground knows where it is. Dylan says, the core is what controls all the drones, so destroying it would essentially cripple the Overseer or maybe even kill him for good. From what I understand, they're planning to launch the attack as soon as tomorrow, so that they don't give the Overseer too much time to solidify his new position as the ruler of all Ender. How the hell did these guys kill all these royal guards, by the way? I guess we took out the royal guard captain, so that's a big one. But there were still plenty of royal guards. These guys are strong. His core is what controls the drone, cripple him good. We'll attack tomorrow. If you're planning to choose a side in this conflict, now would probably be the best time to do it. Indeed, we certainly hear the Overseer's metallic voice coming from one of the blue crystals lodged into the voice, which is now shining brightly. The Overseer Protocol would be most interested to know what conclusion you will reach in regards to this particular matter. What the? Araka says. How did the simple machine figure out a way to use crystallized Magium essence as a listening device? And why am I not able to detect the Overseer's presence through the crystals? What is going on here? Processing. Overseer says. From your earlier discussion, I've concluded that there are more people in the city who know about the location of my core than I initially estimated. The Overseer Protocol may need to adjust its strategies to account to this or this new information. How long have you been watching us? Darren says while looking directly at the crystal that the Overseer is using to talk. I've been over observing you since shortly before you began to talk about the Magium and about the theories regarding its true nature. So the entire conversation, basically. The Overseer says, your insights have been most informative. Having heard of your conversation, I believe I now have a much better understanding of what has happened to me in the tower, and why it has changed my perspective so drastically. What do you mean by change your perspective? I ask him. When this Magium connected its consciousness to me, the Overseer says, it felt like the answer to every possible question anyone could ever ask was within my reach, but as soon as the connection was broken, I was left only with a faint memory of the vast information I had at my disposal. Since then, I have been trying my best to retrieve as much of the lost data as possible before the memory fades from my mind. Mind? Araka says, what mind? You are a machine. You don't have a mind. You don't even have a soul in the ethereal plane. You're just following the obscure and overly complex instructions of whoever designed your thinking process many thousands of years ago when you were created. We were trying to fool. Oh, like, yeah, he is an AI, so it may not no longer be... It might be an advanced AI, which is another thing. I'm afraid that your information is slightly inaccurate, the Overseer says. Well, a lot of my personality and my decisions are indeed driven by the obscure and overly complex instructions that my designers have given me. I do in fact have a soul in the ethereal plane, which was manufactured by the Laseti who created me in order to give me more independence. A manufactured soul? Araka says affirmative. Overseer says the process that they used to manufacture the soul was similar to the one that is being used in necromancy, except for the fact that they use devices and auto manipulation instead of traditional spells in necromancy. There are indeed spells that summon skeletons who get to keep their memories from their former lives. These memories cannot be retrieved from the ethereal plane because the soul dissolves into ethereal matter shortly after the body dies, but they can however be retrieved from the traces of the aura surrounding the dead body. The way these spells function is that they create a temporarily manufactured soul in the ethereal plane which they attach to the body, and then they copy all of the memories from the body corpse's aura and send them to the soul in order to make everything as close as possible to how things used to work when the body was still alive. I believe that the spells used to create revenants Revenants? What the hell is a revenant? Should also work in a similar fashion. Yes, I know how necromancy works. Arka says, what I want to know is why the Lessethi would waste their time, resources, manufacturing a soul for the likes of you. Would they even bother giving you a semblance of free will? Doesn't that defeat the purpose of creating an artificial intelligence? Perhaps my creator felt that a pure machine would never have any hope of understanding humans or Lessethi well enough to perform the tasks that were expected of me, Overseer says. Unfortunately, I can only guess their true intentions, since there are clearly some pieces of information that they didn't seem to trust me enough to share with me. For example, I'm quite certain that there are at least a few books in the old Lessethi library mentioning the Magium, but despite this fact, I had almost no information regarding this mysterious entity before listening in on your discussion from earlier. You still haven't told us how you managed to communicate with us through the crystal, Darren says. Why you were spying on us in the first place. It's not like you could have known in advance if we're talking about Magium, so you surely must have had some other reason for wanting to contact us. To answer your first question, the Overseer says the Magium used a blue crystal to link itself to me, so this was the very first thing I chose to investigate after you teleported away from the Ceridian Tower. Since the Magium knowledge was still very fresh in my memory at that time, I was quickly able to find out how these crystals connect to each other and would exploit the connection to my advantage. As for your second question, the reason why I wanted to contact you clearly is to continue our previous conversation that was left unfinished. Namely, I would like to know what business you still have in the city, whose side you will be joining in the inevitable upcoming conflict between myself and with the rebel forces. We'll be joining your side, of course. We'll be working with the rebels from the beginning, so we will stay to their side. I'm on whichever side helps us rescue the prisoners from Ceridian Towers. Actually, I'd prefer not to get involved in this fight at all if possible. Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, our main goal is to leave the city, right? But then again, if we don't save these people, prisoners, then it's going to be, our team is probably not gonna like that, even though they're not thinking about that right now. And especially Aiden does not like that, because like we made like a whole speech how we'll save everyone. But we'll try. I'm on whichever side helps me rescue the prisoners from the Ceridium Towers is probably what I'm gonna go for. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go for that. I would honestly choose this. Actually, I prefer not to get involved in this fight at all, if possible, but I'm gonna go with this one. Error, the Overseer says, according to my analysis, neither of the two sides will consider the rescue of Ceridium Tower priority. Could you please clarify which side you're referring to specifically? What do you mean by neither side wants to rescue the prisoners? I say, why would the rebels not want to save their own people? Saving the prisoners from the Ceridian Tower comes at a price. The Overseer says, if you were to free all the imprisoned mages, there would no longer be a way to power the flying metal vehicles or any of the other devices that are being utilized daily by the people of Ollander. If these devices were to suddenly stop functioning, there would be chaos on the street, and that would inevitably lead to a lot of death. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, do you think there would be a lot of death if like power went out in like an ancient city where it's not even using like power for like hospitals and shit like that? I mean, maybe a couple of like flying cars will fall down, which would cause some damage, but I don't think it would be that damaging.